This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good evening everyone. I got the Vach. We're continuing in Sefer Chofetz Chaim Yomi, learning Shiur for Shlema, Shalom Yisrael ben Sarah Gittel. Okay, we're learning the mitzvah Sa'aseh, and we are up to mitzvah Hey. Mitzvah Sa'aseh Hey. Hey and Vav. V'lefamim over al yidei kabbalasei es halashon hara oirachilas gam al mitzvah Sa'aseh dohicheach toicheach. Sometimes by accepting lashon hara oirachilas, you're also over the mitzvah Sa'aseh of rebuke. K'goynim raya shechaveroi maschal lesaper loi begnus chaveroi. Let's say you see your friend starting to speak disparagingly about his friend. And you know that if you say something, he'll listen to you. Or he might listen to you. You're obligated to rebuke him, so that he doesn't complete the deal and seal the deal and finish the sin. So if you know he'll listen, or if he might listen, you must say something. And if you don't say something, if you allow him to finish, you're definitely over the mitzvah Sa'aseh. As the Ber Mayim Chaim explains, the mitzvah of hoichacha is koydem achet. It's not only after the chet. And this applies b'fanav, shaloi b'fanav. And this is a mitzvah on the makabel. It's not applicable to the masaper. The masaper can't say, the masaper can't say, I'm about to tell you lashon hara. I want to rebuke you. You shouldn't be makabelet. That obviously wouldn't be a situation, but it's on the makabel. There's a footnote here. Let's say you make up in your mind that you'll rebuke him when he's done. That's not correct. You're going to let him eat the chazer and then tell him he shouldn't have done it? You should have stopped him in his tracks. How is it possible that if you would see your friend eating the flesh of the swine, chas v'chalila, you're going to allow him to eat it, reliant on rebuking him after? Certainly, you're halachically obligated to rebuke him immediately. Maybe he'll accept, and he'll stop eating. Every kazayis is another lav. You're going to wait until he ate 9 kazayisim, then you're going to rebuke him? You should stop him in his tracks. Likewise in our case of lashon hara. Nami kol dibur v'dibur shel gnus, every single word of disparagement to isser b'fnei atzmai is an isser by itself. Unless you see shem yanichenu l'gmar sipor, unless you realize that by letting him finish the story, it will be more possible, it will be easier to clarify before all the listeners min hasipor hazeh gufa, from this story itself, shehu divrei hoitzah shem rabba alma. Unless you need him to get it out to be able to show menei obey from his report that what he's saying is moitzi shemra. Or sometimes halachically you need to have him finish, because this is something that even though you're not allowed to believe, but you have to be concerned maybe it's true, right? Because halacha is you're not allowed to believe lashon hara, but you're allowed to be suspicious maybe it's true. As will be explained, God willing, all of this later on. Behilchos lashon hara klal vav. Aval, however, if let's say you don't need him to finish, because you know all he's doing is he's pouring out disparaging comments on his friend, or he's just mocking his friend. Certainly anyone who hastily runs b'taychachta to rebuke u'meinei lechaver mizeh, preventing his friend mitzvah rabahu, he's doing a great mitzvah. All of this is even if there are other listeners other than you. Meaning maybe you'll say, why is it my problem? I have to give him rebuke? I'm not the only listener. Let someone else rebuke. No, even if there are 9 other listeners, you're over the lav. Ayin le'el b'lavin ba'istalid beber ma'im. Okay, u'le'inyan l'fnei iver, regarding l'fnei iver, so look earlier in the lavin, oistalid, and the ber ma'im Chaim, whether a recipient is over l'fnei iver, if there are other listeners. That the Chofetz Chaim was masupik. The first listener is definitely over l'fnei iver. Additional listeners, it's a question whether they're over l'fnei iver. Halacha v'choza shekosavnu hu afilum im mesapra divrei gnusa chaver beina levein atzmai. All of the above lavin and asays are even if the mesaper spoke the disparaging words on his friend privately, between him and you. But let's say you attach yourself to groups of wicked people and bali lashon hara, in order to tell them words of disparagement, or to listen from them. So this is not just a private affair, but you're forming a group. You're also over the mitzvah saseh to cling to Tamid Chachamim. Our Chazal explain what this means is to cling to the sages of Torah, and to diligently sit among them in all possible ways. So let's say there's a davening, there's a mitzvah d'oraisa. You should be the person to accompany the Talmid Chacham home, or you should be the one to walk them, to talk with them, to drive them, to spend time with them in whatever capacity possible. Even to eat or drink with them, or to do business with them, or to cling to them as much as possible. Why? It's all in order to learn from their ways. Therefore, certainly, one who does the opposite of this, that he clings to a group of the wicked, he's over this mitzvah saseh. So by forming a group to speak lashon hara, to listen to lashon hara, you are violating the mitzvah d'oraisa of associating with Talmidei Chachamim. Says the Chofetz Chaim in a footnote, all the more so, what is common in our many sins, b'Shabbos kodesh achar suda shlishis, on Shabbos after shalashudas, sheish kama kitos anoshim, there are a lot of groups that form before the Marav. Haloim de Torah mistama masichim develikim Chaim. The learners, they're probably speaking about Torah. Shari anoshim, other people mistam masichim inyan havli oilam. They're probably talking about emptiness, politik, sport, weather. Ubavadai mizgander al lashonim divrei lashon hara v'holos v'leit sanos. Definitely, it will be rolling off their tongues lashon hara, frivolity, mockery. Imkein misha poiresh me'abalei Torah. If you separate from the Balei Torah, but you say, I don't know what the Balei Torah are talking about. You don't have to know what they're talking about. If you leave the conversation of learning, and then you go and associate with those speaking chatter, to listen to them, their empty talk, they're over on this mitzvah saseh. Aside from being over on loisia achrei ram l'rois, k'moshe kasavnu le'el b'lavin ois yid aleph v'ayin sham b'is dalin mashe kasavnu b'shem tzavos Rabbi Lezer Hagadol al inyan zeh. V'afilu im ein lo yomi l'schaber, even if you have no one to talk with. So now, let's say I don't have an option. If I don't associate with the schmoozers, I'm going to be an outcast. I'm going to be a loner. No, mitzvah rabba lachsein piv. It's a great mitzvah to muzzle your mouth. V'leisha b'yachidi, and sit silently. V'lo leilech al kitois rois ha'elo, and not go to these bad groups. Kamay shamar Razal, like Chazal tell us, kol rega v'rega she'adam chosev piv. For every moment that a person muzzles his mouth, zoicha b'shviloi la'or aganos, he will merit on account of muzzling his mouth to the hidden light, she'ein kol malach ubriya yachal ashaler, that even an angel or no celestial creature could estimate the great reward for being shomer piv ulashainai. Wish everybody a gitavach, a gezintavach, a mazel tekavach, kol tov.
Recording stopped.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.